Welcome back, everybody. You're just in time for What's Hot. This is where we talk about the stories that have everybody talking.
And today we are joined by Tracy Johnson of Commercial Association of Realtors, plus Jeff Wagner's back with us. All right, several people are furious with the president. The president was seen laughing and having a great time on the golf course just minutes after pledging justice for journalist James Foley. Now, many believe it was in poor taste. Your thoughts?
Okay, let me say this. First of all, I don't fault presidents for taking vacations, and I don't fault President Obama for doing that and for playing golf. I also think the speech he gave yesterday was outstanding. I mean, it hit exactly the right tone. My question was, okay, where do we go from here? But I thought it was a great tone. Having said that, the optics were terrible. Just absolutely terrible to go out on a golf course and to be seen fist bumping with, Alonzo Mourning. I think it sends exactly the wrong message, especially overseas and especially to our enemies. I'm stunned that he didn't delay his golf game for a day.
Mm-hmm. Well, and going back to what you first said, I mean, everybody's entitled to a vacation, especially the president. I would have liked to seen him wear a tie for that. I mean, come on, you're pulling together this entire press conference. I mean, don't make us feel like, okay, I took a break for my vacation. So I think the tone was a little off because of just that. I agree with you, though. Don't go out on the golf course. Everybody is watching. When in times of crisis, in times of uncertainty like this, everybody is watching the leader. You are the leader.
Do you get the feeling that the president is so used to people nitpicking every aspect of his life that he does not care what people think anymore? He's going to do the job he thinks it's going to be done and doesn't care what the peanut gallery says.
Well, I don't think it's nitpick. I don't think this is nitpicking, Steve. I think this is a relatively big deal, especially the way it plays overseas and especially the way it plays with the terrorists. You have the President of the United States who, and again, I thought it was an outstanding speech. It set exactly the right tone. We're not going to tolerate this. And then 15 minutes afterwards, he's joking around and smiling and laughing while he's playing golf. At the very least, it sends mixed messages. To your point, do I think he doesn't care? Yeah, I just don't think. I don't think he cares because obviously some of his advisors must have said, Mr. President, there's going to be photographers out there. Think about what it's going to look like when this is in all the papers the next day. But I don't think he cares.
So you think 24 hours would have been better? It just would have come across a lot better for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the juxtaposition. I mean, again, I think a lot of us, look, I know there's a lot of critics of the president out there, but I think, lots of people realize you get to be on vacation and you get to do those type of things. To me, it was, you give this speech and 15 minutes later, you're teeing off with Alonzo Mourning. That's where I think the bad optics came in.
All right, coming up next, we reveal the viewer's choice topic of the day.
And of course, Michael Fish will be back here with another look at your forecast. That's a live look from Port Washington. Time for more of What's Hot, and it is our viewer's choice topic of the day.
Again, we're joined by Tracy Johnson and Jeff Wagner from 620 WTMJ. The viewer's choice topic today: some rural sheriffs across the country are refusing to enforce federal gun laws. They say they're standing up to gun laws they consider unconstitutional under the Second Amendment. Should sheriffs be allowed to refuse to enforce gun laws? We have a debate in our state about enforcing one law or the other that people like or don't like, don't we?
And this is really scary to me. I think that the sheriffs are in place while they are elected. They are in place to enforce the law. So going off on their own and creating new laws or interpreting the laws in different ways, I think is really scary. Who are the people in these different communities supposed to trust if they can't trust the people in these positions?
See, I agree with you, Tracy, and this is an issue that's playing out on both sides. Now, we're focusing right now on the issue of some sheriffs who aren't enforcing federal gun laws. This is playing out nationally, where you have the Attorney General of the United States who's suggesting to different U.S. attorneys, here, we're going to pick and choose which laws we're going to enforce. We're not going to issue charges for violation of this law. There's this whole argument going on now about immigration, which is, should we have people who perhaps aren't sympathetic with some of the laws now, we're just not going to enforce the immigration laws. I don't care what the issue is. I'm with you entirely. Laws are on the books. And this idea that you can have executives, whether they're county sheriffs or district attorneys or attorney generals or whatever, making the decisions that, gee, we don't like the law or we don't like the way this law is applied, so we're not going to enforce it. That's scary, regardless of what side you're on.
I think the term is nullification, Jeff. What about these movements to nullify through state laws, federal laws?
Well, I think it's absurd. It's just a general rule. I mean, you've got a separation of powers, and you've got different responsibilities between the state and the federal government. federal laws are federal law. You can have a state law that decides, okay, we're going to legalize marijuana, for example. That doesn't override the federal laws on distribution of marijuana. I mean, it's really scary when you pick and choose, whether it's gun issues, immigration, drugs, whatever. If you don't like a law, repeal the law, change the law. That's what the legislatures are there for.
I'd agree. So let's go to our lightning round right now. Get this, a student in Memphis, Tennessee says that she was suspended for saying "bless you" after a classmate sneezed. Now the student says her teacher told her that was for church. So the question is, should the child have been suspended?
Well, I think that the student was suspended for yelling across the classroom in a disruptive manner. Now, I am all for God bless you, but I do it when the person is 2 people away from me, not if I'm shouting across the room. And I think that's why these rules were in place, is to prevent people from doing that, because it's disruptive.
Well, it is disruptive, but and see, and I understand that's the line the school is peddling, that she was being disruptive. But then when you see the evidence, that whiteboard that the teacher had saying that "bless you" is not permitted, along with a number of other phrases, I think this teacher has issues as well. I think maybe, and so maybe there's a lot of blame to go around here. But who in their right mind would say that you shouldn't be able to say "bless you" in the classroom? If the kid yelled it out, I understand that was disruptive, but I think there's more to this story. And I actually tell you, I tend to side a little bit more with the child in this case. I think this teacher has issues.
Did Jerry Seinfeld have it right on this whole issue of what to say when somebody sneezes?
And that would be?
You are so good looking.
Oh. I'd like to see that catch on, but
I
bet
hear
that
laughter
would be
from the Weather Center, or Florida Director gets it. Anybody else? Couple people in the studio. All right. Well,
I got it.
if you enjoy the joke, you're welcome. You are so good looking. The What's Hot discussion continues online. Find it at tmj4.com/hot. Thank you both.